Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers and sisters. Critical analytics. Today we're going to discuss a few topics. Primarily we're going to be talking about the woman of chapter 12 in the AL-INJIL. We're going to be saying a few things about that. And one other thing. Before we go there, let's talk a little about current events. If you listen to the noise that's going on out there, they're virtually telling you this whole thing is doomed. I mean, they blame on each other. They're saying things like, if we don't this, they bring America to destruction. They're causing America to be hated all over the world. They're inviting war, right? See? So in other words, all they see is trouble. All they see is trouble on the horizon. You haven't heard one bit of good news in this country in the last, I guess, since 1990. I mean, I guess the Trump folks can say, well, he was a bit of good news for them. But you haven't heard any good news in this country since 1990, probably ever. Because 1990 was a turning point. So it's been bad and bad. Every year it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. America gets more and more in debt, where people kind of like sweep under the rug. Because if you get more and more in debt, right, that's pulling, that's the underlying foundation, right, of this whole society. Money, capitalism, and now they're in debt. So that means they owe, right? If they owe, then what happens if they have to pay off? Well, if they're bankrupt, see, America is virtually bankrupt. The only thing that's keeping America dollar floating is the American military. And now that's in question. Everything about this society is in question. Everything. That should tell you all you need to know. As I've been saying, when you have put something under intense pressure, right, it pushes the strongest, the best it has, right, to the center. And that starts converting, transforming everything around it until it's a complete transformation to adjust to that pressure. If it fails, the whole thing is crushed to dust. You have to understand that principle. And so what we have right now running America is the very best that America could summon. You say, well, Trump, he wasn't the best because they crushed him out. That means the one they got is the very best they can produce. The very best they can produce. See? That's the way nature works. See? And so his job, that he may recognize that, well, he's senile, but his job is to transform this whole system into a form, right, that can withstand the pressures that are being applied to it in these days and times. And the pressures on America are overwhelming. So they have to transform, and they are in the process of trying to transform their institutions, their systems, but they're not going to be able to, because they don't have within them to make another transformation. The last great transformation they made was 500 years ago when they transformed into capitalism, democracy, this type of system that they have now, and it served them 500 years. Okay. But now they can't. Now those institutions and systems cannot survive the pressures that America is exposed to now, the pressures of today, the pressures of now, the current pressures. And everyone that has adopted this system will be crushed. Everyone has adopted this system will be crushed because this system of things cannot survive this period of pressure. this phase of pressure, if you will. Right? It's just like Sunni Islam could not survive the pressures that were exposed to 500 years ago. They were broken. They're trying to revive Prophet Muhammad's empire, but they never will. They're blowing themselves up and everything else. They're going ballistic, discombobulated. I mean, they're all over the place, hysterical. In the efforts, and the Bible tells you in Daniel, if you understand it, it says, the violent of our people shall rise up to complete the sign, but they will fail. Because they're trying to reestablish Prophet Muhammad's empire, because they haven't understand how things work. That's an empire that's never going to be reestablished again. It was for that period of time. It's only supposed to last 1,000 years. The Quran tells you that. It said the Quran, he would hold Gog and Magog up for 1,000 years. It don't say 1,000 years, but they'll be locked up, right? Bound, locked up, bound for 1,000 years. It says it right in there. But it says they will be let loose and they will cover a whole. And it said no one will be able to stop them. So they cover the whole planet. No one will be able to stop them but God himself. It says it right there in the Quran. See? So they're never going to reestablish it. And they got this idea that there's nothing in the Quran support any of that stuff they talk about. They think they're going to reestablish the Prophet Muhammad's empire. They're not. See? Because the new God is on the scene. He's going to make all things new. That means all things, he said all things, former things will pass away. Is it Sunnism? Sunnism one of former things? So all that's gone. And Mr. Biden cannot bring about the transformation because they don't have no ideas. They see this is not working. They said we got to reimagine law enforcement. We got to reimagine economic system. We got to reimagine this and reimagine that. They're right, but they ain't gonna. But they can't imagine it because they can't think anything that come up better, stronger. They can't. So they will resort to martial law. That's where America end up in martial law. That means all this whole system is taken under control by the military. That's what they do. All those fails, go to martial law. That's how America's going to end up. So hope you understand that, brothers and sisters. They can't do it. And we can. We transform, right? We transform ourselves, right? We can transform ourselves to any. We transform ourselves. We allow ourselves to be formed into niggas to survive this situation we've been going through for the last 64 years. See? So we can survive anything. We survived that. And believe it or not, some of us are still intact. See? So anyway, and then, we see this weather. And it's primarily hitting America, but it's all over the planet. And why? Because you have low pressure systems, like I said. Anybody's adopted this system, they're going to be hit. Because these systems, these institutions cannot survive the pressures of the times. They can't. And so the God is on the scene now. He's making all things new, which means he's converting time. That's what energy is. Time is converting energy to one form to another. He's going to convert all the energy of now into a new form. That's how did they come up with this society they have right now? Did they pull it from Mars? They pull it out of there behind? No. They took the energy that existed and converted it to this form of energy. That's the way things work. You convert energy from one form to another. So that's why it was called a God. That's why Satan is called a God, because gods change reality. They're able to convert energy from one form into another. And those that keep up with that God, they're the ones that are successful with that God during that period, that time of that God's rule. And Satan's rule would last for 6,000 years. Now his rule is over. Now a new God's on the scene. He's going to make all things new. And we need to keep up with that God because we need to be on the same wavelength he's in. We need to be creating the same type of time, creating the same time, traveling through time along with him. You be traveling through time along with him, because traveling through time means you're changing one form of energy to another. And so we need to keep up with him, changing time in sync with him. And changing time in sync with him. That's what we need to be doing. Hope you understand. Okay. So, one thing I want to discuss before we go into this is a very interesting thing that, it's really, you should understand it if you understand pressure. And I'm trying to get you all to start thinking in terms of pressure. Because you are, in a way, because, the only way you can think in terms of pressure, but you need to be conscious of it, you need to control it. Because you don't control it. In other words, animals think in terms of pressure too, and they have to, because they thought it's pressure. And to the extent that they think to its degree, because they go hunting, they know to find food. You say it's instinctive, but it's still a form of thinking. See? But when you become conscious of it, that's when you have your power. And we lost conscious of our thinking power. So I just want to give you this little tidbit here, if you want to call it that. Okay. Now, I'm going to say this slowly, not being, condescending or anything, but I want you to try to understand this concept. Very powerful. Our reality is force and pressure. In pressure, you have molecules, or you have atoms, anything, whatever the components are. In our case, right, as humans, we're the components, right? And the Earth is our volume. That's what we are. Because you have collisions, that's interactions. We have that. Temperature, right? How fast you're moving, right? Which determines the intensity and the frequency of the interreactions, right? And you have volume, which is how many there are, right? And those are the components of pressure, right? Okay, let me back up again, right? Let me say it again. You have the volume, that means how many are, right? So that means population, right? Temperature, how fast you're moving, right? How fast you move is going to determine how fast you're thinking. You're not going to think fast and you move. And volume, right? Did I miss anything here? I said volume, how many there are, okay? Temperature. Oh, and collisions. So collisions is your interreactions. We interact with each other. We move about, right? And how many of us? So if there's only one person on the planet, there's no pressure, because you don't have to interact with anybody. So the more people you have, because the Earth is not getting any bigger, that means the more pressure you're going to have. The more population, that's why they talk about, I know some of you don't read this stuff, but they have books about, I have some books on that, population explosion. See, they're thinking, see, because they know that's a time bomb. That's why when you understand these things, you understand, from their point of view, they got to eliminate the population, because they know that's going to put too much pressure on the people. Now, they don't understand that we're in a pressure system, but they still understand that puts pressure. See, they're not analytical mind. They don't see they don't see the whole picture. See, they see the individual aspects of it. They don't understand in terms of pressure anyway. So you understand that. So more people, right? Okay. Now, the faster people move around, that causes more pressure too, because temperature. That's the frequency and intensity of the pressure. Of the collisions. Right? So you got the population, you got the interreactions, and you got the movement. Now, in a pressure system, everybody has the same amount of energy. Everyone has the same amount of energy. So the law is mass times acceleration equals force, or another way of saying everybody has the same force. So the force is 12, everybody has the same force. Somebody has 1 times 12, somebody has 2 times 6, somebody has 3 times 4, but same. So in other words, It's mass times acceleration. So if your mass is 12, your acceleration is only be 1, so you're going to be moving real slow. So if you got a very complex structure, that means you have greater more mass, so you're going to move slow. That means you're going to think slow, slower than everybody else. But the one has 1 mass, he got very simple mass, right? He can move around a little fast. He can move around at 12. See? He's thinking much faster. See? But not complex. He's thinking simpler, but faster, simpler. And the ones that's 12, he's thinking more complex, but slower. Because he's thinking more complex. See? More complicated. Everything has to balance. So as the energy increases, right, that means the temperature is going to rise. In other words, so if you have a situation where you have a certain amount of population, the population has so much temperature, right, and there's so much interreactions, right, then if you increase the temperature, right, then you're going to intensify the reactions, interactions, which is going to intensify the collisions, which is pressure. So we know we energize every 50 years, we get a burst of energy. That means you're going to increase the pressure on the planet. You're going to increase the pressure. In addition to that, the population is growing too. That increases the pressure. Because if the population stays stable, then then you only got the pressure increase because of the increase in energy. See? Okay. But if you got a double problem, you got population increase and plus you got energy increase. So that increases the pressure very dramatically. See? So the one that's complex, right? He's like the Lamborghini. See, they can take hits, interaction, because the interaction is more violent as the temperature increases. If the energy increases, the more violent, right, the interaction is going to be. So if you got a plastic ball going up against a steel ball and hit each other with a very powerful impact, you know what's happening to the plastic ball. It's gone. It's history. Steel ball probably might even get a dent. Might not even get a dent. That's the way it works. So I think I'm going to take a presentation that's really talk about that slowly and much detail, because you need to understand, because it's very simple. But you got to apply it to your lifestyle, how to work, how to put it together and show how you can use it to your benefit. But the point I want to make here is, right, as the energy increases, right, that means the temperature increases. That means you're moving faster, right? But you can't move faster than you think. So say, for instance, you can move at 5 miles an hour. Then you get energy burst. So you move 10 miles, and we got enough energy to move 10 miles an hour. But we know we can't move 10 miles an hour as a human being. But the pressure says you move at 10 miles an hour now. Because that energy is forced, the temperature is increased. Because you got to, that's why, you have a pot of water and you can increase the temperature, the molecules move around faster, right? Because the temperature is increased. So he said, well, how is that going to work? If then temperature increase, it says we're going to move around faster. Because that's the point I'm trying to get here, brother. I'm trying to show you how powerful your mind is. Because you get energy, it means your mind, your mental power is going to increase also. That means your mental power is going to create what is necessary for you to move at 10 miles per hour. Because you're going to move 10 miles an hour. And so your mind is going to improve what it's going to take and invent or create the means to move 10 miles an hour. And the ones that's moving the fastest, they're going to come up with the ideas to move the fastest. So what I'm trying to tell you is that you see people got as if they was riding horse and buggy. Then all of a sudden they started riding cars because now they was moving fast, had more energy, and so their mind came up with a way to move faster immediately. Because as soon as you get energy, your mind starts moving faster, and so I start bringing into existence that which can allow you to move faster. And when you take that analogy, then you ask yourself, who's moving the fastest on the planet? And that is our Caucasians. They're moving the fastest. That means they're the least complex. They're the weakest. They're the plastic that's about to run into the Lamborghini, or the plastic balls that's about to run into the steel balls. You understand, brothers and sisters? We the steel balls. So they think we slow, stupid, but we think more complicated. We think spatially. They think we slow and stupid and everything. Oh, look at them. They ain't invented anything. See. You understand? So that's what's going on. See? So that means there's more interactions now, and then since you move faster, interactions are more violent or more aggressive. That means and you have mild interactions. That means dealing with people, talking to people, socializing, and they get more intense. They get to fighting, they get arguing or whatever, get more intense, they get to a war. So America's going to war because enough the energy, the population increasing, plus the energy is increasing, then we get into externally every 50 years. So all those things come together, that means a war. And what does war do? War kills people. It diminishes the population. And the war will continue until the population is down, until the interaction is down. Because when you kill the population, that means now you're decreasing the amount of pressure because you have less interactions. And the war will continue until the reactions go from war back to social. It's just mathematics, brothers and sisters. See? And this war is going to be extreme because it's going to eliminate 2/3 of the population of the planet, even more so actually. See? So now another thing. Now we energize when remember I said when you take and you put pressure on something, it has two alternatives. It's either reorganize to adjust to the pressure, right? Or that's a positive reorganization or a negative reorganization, right? Or you have a constructive reorganization or a positive one where you like going from a coal to diamond. You have destructive or a negative one where you go from coal to dust. See? Now, the plastic balls I tell you about, the Europeans, they're going to dust because they cannot, their ability to reform, right, under pressure is gone. They don't have the ability anymore, but we do because we can go all the way back. We can be as we can keep on we can keep on reconstructing ourselves, right, all the way back to the beginning of the creation again, because that's where we was created at, under the most intense pressure the universe could summons. So therefore, we can go back to that. That's why I said everything returns to Allah. So we can keep on getting better and better and better and better and better. So what would be like 1,000,000 years from now be way, way beyond what we are now. And we'd be thinking much faster. We'd be thinking so fast, right? And so with all that energy, remember, the more energy, the greater temperature, the more faster you're moving. See? But we wise enough to move in a harmonic motion. That's what how the Hajj is all about. Because you put some enough pressure and you can reorganize. See, we can organize institutions that allow us. See, their institutions are chaotic. Like democracy, everybody do their own thing. See, capitalism, go for self. See, their institutions are chaotic. Ours are harmonic. So we can stand intense pressure beyond anything they can imagine because we have harmonic motion. Because when you have harmonic motion, put some under pressure, like the Hajj, you have all those people there, but nobody's colliding because they're all going around in harmony. So we achieve harmonic motion. And that's what this war is going to bring. It's going to achieve harmonic motion. That's why I said there will be no war anymore. There will not be any more anymore. There will be war no more. See, because we achieve that's the fifth pillar of Islam, the Hajj. Harmonic motion. So when we achieve that, right, then there's no more conflict, but we move faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. And we're thinking faster and faster and faster with no collisions. See? So, but we're thinking fast, remember, but now you moving, you got enough, your power to move 1,000 miles an hour, 10,000 miles an hour, 100,000 miles an hour. Well, your mind's going to produce the vehicles that allow you to move 100,000 miles an hour, 24 billion miles per second to any place in the universe. Do you understand, brothers and sisters? Cavey can't do it because he can't move. He's never going to get to move that fast anyway. He's burning out right now, right, 100 miles an hour. 100 miles an hour, fatal for him. You understand, brothers and sisters? That's why the point I wanted to make is that you move in the direction and speed of your thought. See? So, because we increase in energy, so we move faster and faster and faster. We go any place we want to go. Because we're the gods of the universe. Maker, owner, cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. Cream rises from the bottom to the top. That means we start out in the center of the earth and we move to the surface. We wasn't in the surface of the earth when there was no sun, so it was in the center of the earth. Anyway, that's no story. Hope you understand, brothers. So let's move on to our topic here. Let me check something here first. Is there anything else I want to discuss here first? Okay, let's see here. Make sure I cover everything I was talking about. Okay, let's move on, brothers and sisters. Okay. So I do a little adjustment here. Okay. Now this is the demons. What's a demon? See, a demon's half devil, half man. See, and where did he come from? That was the chaff that was mixed with the wheat. See, come from rape. Because the devils, they consider beasts, they're not considered men. They're considered mankind. See? So by them putting their seed in our women, the result are half and half. And I probably should have put up this little quote the brother sent me in the scripture about how the seed of Abraham will be mixed with beast. That's what a demon is. So when you go into angel Revelations, it's talking about the demons. It says out of the mouth of the beast, out of the mouth of the dragon, and the mouth of the false prophet. So then you identify who is the beast, because you need to know the angel key to do this. So now you know who the beast is, who the dragon is, who the false prophet is. And they say they're demons. See? And they say they're also called spirits. See, because this more original nation, right, is called also seven spirits. For they are spirits of demons, right? They connect together, which are going out upon the kings of being inhabited whole, right, to lead them towards a great day, God Almighty. That means they are part of what's bringing about the war between Europeans. That's the way they're talking about there. See? So I just want to point that out. I'm not going into detail about it, but I'm just trying to show you how you can identify who the demons are. So they have a big part to play in this war that's coming up. Because you can characterize as demon wars to a great extent, because once they cut loose, see, one of the master mistake is going after them. The master so paranoid, see, at the point of abomination desolation, when it's clear who we are, they will have to eliminate us. because they can't reconstruct their systems. And they know, I mean, think about it right now. Why are they trying to reimagine law enforcement? Because of black folks. Why are they trying to reimagine economic system here? Because of black folks. Why are they trying to imagine, you know, the jobs and all that kind of stuff to work for? Because of black folks. Think about it. So they say, if we're going to deal with black folks, we got to reimagine these systems. Because why? Because black folks was tearing this country apart for 5 months last year, weren't they? I told you that was going to happen. So already white folks already told them, you got to change this thing or we're going to tear it apart. They already told you that. I've been telling you stuff for 30 years. And they telling you that. They saying it. If you don't change this system, we're going to tear it apart. Critical race theory, because of black people. We just push about this virus because black folks don't want to take it. And what they telling you? If we don't change this system, we're going to tear it apart. Ain't that what they telling them? And what the demons telling them? So when abomination of desolation takes place, see, and it's clear that the original people in America are the true seed of Abraham. They got a big dilemma here because now they know that they got to eliminate these people or be eliminated. Because people say, if you don't change, they know they got to change. And they can't change. Because once they see the abomination of desolation, they realize they can't change. It's impossible. So like I said, if you cannot change, if you cannot readjust to the pressure that's you upon, then you have to get rid of the pressure. You only have one choice. If the pressure is too great for you, you got to get rid of the pressure. Like if you're in a sauna, if it gets too hot in there, right? Then you got to either stay in there and get cooked or get the hell out of there. That's the way you get rid of the heat, get away from it. But if you can't get away from it, you got to turn it off, right? If you can't get outside, you got to turn the heat off. So you can't get off this planet, so they got to turn the pressure off. Who's the pressure? You, the black people. At least that's the way they see it. See? And because the demons, they were saying, we're going to tear this country apart. And what we're telling them, we're going to organize. We're going to an independent nation. They can't have that here either, because that puts pressure on them. If we independent, that's why they couldn't handle Elijah Muhammad, because what he was doing is putting pressure on them. By bringing black folks together and building their own nation within a nation, that was putting pressure on them, because that means that pushed them out the way. Do you understand, brother? So it says, that's what it's talking about. See, that great war. So they're going to have to attack all black people. See, because they can't distinguish who's who. And like I said, it doesn't matter anyway, because either one wants to organize and be their own nation, and the other one wants to just change this whole nation itself. One wants to get away from it, one wants to get out the sauna, and one wants to turn it off. And they don't want the sauna turned off. One wants to get out of it, and one wants to turn it off. Either way, see? So they go after both. The demon wars. See, that's just one of America's problems here. The demon problem here, that's going to be very dramatic. It's going to tear this country apart. You read the story of Samson. He brought the whole civilization down and brought it down and he killed himself in the process. See? Now, I'm not going to the Samson story. Maybe I go into that more detail in all time. That's what it is. He positioned himself, right? He was the greenish yellow one here. He positioned himself between America and Britain. That's where it says 2 pillars. And he brought him down because he was angry. Because he went through slavery just like we did. See, they put his eyes out. See, but his hair grew back. His strength grew back, but his eyes didn't go back. He's a demon. And so he got mad, and so he destroyed the whole damn thing. So I thought that pointed out, brothers and sisters. So you can go look at it for yourself. For the next one. Now, this one. This is chapter 12. Now I'm going to go into a little more detail. I mean, like I said, as we get closer, I'd be more detailed. I mean, if you've been studying, you probably pick up on some of this already. See? Okay, the woman there. See, some people think that woman, they don't understand who the woman is altogether. See, the woman is pregnant. See, she's pregnant with, she has 2 children. She has 2. She has a son and a child. See, they think that's the same thing. It's a male child and son. No. The angel don't do things like that. If they say 2 different names, they're talking about something else. So he gave birth to Suleiman and also gave birth to Suleiman's father, David. Okay. But the point is, the crowns are not part of the woman. I mean, your head is not part of you. Your wig is not part of you. It's on your head. So the crowns were upon her head. They're not part of her. See? So the whole woman is corrupt. The whole woman is corrupt. See? It's 3 demons, and it really you're not even a seed of Abraham anymore. The woman is not a seed of Abraham. The woman is not a seed of Abraham. See? I know some of you just accept that because it seems like that's what I've been saying. The woman is not a seed of Abraham because she's corrupt. The demons, they're not seed of Abraham, they're seed of the devil. They're the ones, the chaff that was sown amongst the wheat. And the wheat, they're not, right, the seed of Abraham because they're Levites. They're Levites that was grafted in. See? So who is the seed of Abraham? The crowns, the elect. Those are the seed of Abraham. Those ones will be delivered out here. Those ones in the Lamb's Book of Life, they will be in there. Those ones Master Muhammad is going to deliver. The saints have to go to tribulation period. The demons going to tear his country apart. They didn't have no part. They've been pushed out and destroyed. The saints had to go to tribulation period, but the elect, they will not have to go to tribulation. They will not hear the faintest sounds of the raging waters of hell. I told you I'd get clear, I'm not changing anything I've been saying in the past, right? I said I'll make it clearer and clearer and clearer. Because again, I got people out there, liars and false prophets and everything else, that would love to grab hold of this and claim it for themselves. Because that's the sign of Suleiman, that's the sign of the Lamb of God, that's the sign of the end, the one that breaks those 7 seals. If they can get a hold of this and get the firm grip on this, then they out there, they got a big following, big oil and everything. They say, hey man, and they never heard of me. Nobody's heard of me. They heard of Farrakhan. Oh man, I broke the seals. And then I come like, man, you get out of here, man. Farrakhan broke seals. What are you talking about? Nobody about you. That would be the game they play. And I ain't stupid. See, they may be stupid, but I ain't stupid. See, so they would steal it if they could. See, so I give it out as I give it out. The people that work with me, they understand. See, they get what they need in due time, in due season. Like I said he would give them, feed them the proper meals in due season. See, in due season, right? In the season come, you don't give them, just rush it to them, force it all down their throats because it won't work. You have to use it when it's needed. So we understand that. See, they can't get at that. They can't. I keep saying, I've said it a long time. They can't. They don't know who the elect are. They can't get to the elect. They don't know. I mean, elected. I mean, I'm not saying. I'm not going to say too much about that. Right. So that's what that is. That's the woman, right? The chaff there and the wheat. The chaff, right? That's all. Like I said, the wheat, right? They're Levites. They're not seed of Abraham, but they've been grafted in. That's the Levites. Hope you understand that, brothers and sisters. So let's move on. Now here we go. See, here it explains it right here. It says, Look, I saw the Lamb having stood upon the mountain of Zion. We understand the mountain was an angel, right? With 144,000 have the name of him, name of the Father him, have written upon the foreheads of them, right? And they were giving, underlined here, they were they were singing a song as new, a new song. They were singing a new song. See, that's the angel. See, and I told you, the scriptures are designed, right, for the vibrations of the hearts of the people that the God decide. That's like he guides who he pleases, right? He forgives who he pleases. So what you mean? You mean the people that's wrong, they're not guided? Disbelievers, right? Because you don't want them. They're not going to see it. The scriptures are written, right, to be on the vibrations, right, the frequency of the hearts of the people that the gods choose, right, to move forward in time with him. So angels designed for the elect. They're the only ones who will understand it. That's what it says right here. And they're saying a new song, right, and the side of the throne, side with whatever, and no one was able to learn that song but them. No one was able to learn that song but them because it don't feel, you know, they don't recognize their heart can't. Just like you put music out there and you say, well, white people can't drum. Well, the reason why they dance like that because that's the way they feel the music. They don't feel all that stuff you feel because their hearts can't handle that. Remember, they're stripped down version. They're not complex. Their hearts just don't feel those beats. They don't recognize it. They don't hear what you're hearing. You say, oh, no, they're not. Just like a colorblind person, they don't see what you see. We know about colorblind people. They don't see what you see. They don't see the color stuff you see. They see something totally different what you see. But they got eyes. They see something different. They don't see more than you see. They see less. That's why I call them colorblind. They don't see all the colors you see. And so far, the Caucasians, I mean Europeans, whatever, they don't feel all the vibrations you feel because you got your heart can hit any note. Your heart is infinite. So therefore, because our music is going to get better. I mean, a million years from now, this music that we're playing right now be like okie doke stuff. The music that we have a million years from now, like because our hearts be so more advanced and be so much more wise, and it'd be totally something totally different. It won't be anything like this. Like the music right now, the music we had before we came over here is different from that. And that music, we was down with that music, right? Bam, drums and everything else. We was man. But we know that's music right now is much more different than that. There's no connection. See? So the demons, he's not even the saints. They can't pick up on these vibes. That's why the saints is not run, you know. I mean they picking up on some of it. They pick up more than the demons. They pick up more, but they can't pick up all of it. They pick up enough, right, to recognize it. That's why it says when they saw Suleiman and Mark, they ran. They wanted to get down, right? See, but they was prevented. You see, so they can pick up on some of it. They can't get all of it, but they can get enough of it, right? To get them through the tribulation. They get to recognize Suleiman when the abomination of desolation goes down, and recognize him and get rid of them damn demons. See. But when you look at the angel key and look at the ark, they're not at the top. They're at the bottom. See? Because they never understand the whole 100%. But you can. You can. See? Hope you understand that concept. See? Because we ain't all the same. It says nobody can understand it but them. Nobody can sing that song but them. Why they use it as a song? Because where the heart music comes from the heart. See? And goes further, it says women, see, and these are the women not polluted. See, these weren't polluted. The rest of them are polluted. The rest of them are polluted. They're still gold. Remember, gold represents the original nation. We started out as all gold. And initially started all gold, and now only left was gold left, right? It used to be what's left. Everything else polluted. That's what it says. See? So they're like virgins. They weren't corrupted by what woman? They weren't corrupted by this woman, harlot, Eve. They weren't corrupted. See, when I was telling you as I was growing up, right? Motown stuff came in, and it touched me, but I rejected it. I moved away because I knew that if I could feel a temptation. I could feel a draw. I was strong enough. See, because temptation means, you're tempted to do something. I mean, it's so good that it tries to pull you, but you have to be strong enough to withstand the temptation. And that's what said the elect would be strong enough because they wouldn't be able to get them. The temptation would be so strong that it would get them if it was possible. See, it says Jesus would be tempted. Say Satan would try to tempt him, right? But the point is, as I was growing up, I did all kinds of crazy stuff like me. I was like, I'm not making any excuses. But I was an orphan. I didn't know anything. Nobody told me anything. Me, my sister, and myself was the dumbest to be on the planet when my father passed away at 14. We didn't know anything. My mother passed away when I was 9, and she didn't get a chance to teach us anything because she was a very young woman. She was like in her early 20s when she passed away. See, taking that damn polio shot. See, they knew they had cancer in it. And they're gonna tell me to take this crap. And then my father, 5 years later, and he wasn't educated. He didn't have an education or anything. So we didn't know anything. We was about the dumbest two people on the planet, and nobody took care of us. Nobody cared about us. The few relatives that was around, they tried to use us. All they wanted was the money that the government was giving to take care of. That's all they wanted. They didn't care about us. That's why I got the hell out of there. So as soon as I was able, I got the hell out of there. But I was tempted. Motown sound, right? I was out there smoking marijuana and all that stuff. I was doing all that stuff, but I said, man, hey, I put the brakes on that. Because I recognized the temptation pulled me away. Because I had an idea, I had a dream, and I wanted to follow that dream. My dream, right? See, because I wanted to be a scientist. That's why I wanted to be a stone cold scientist. I wanted to know everything before I knew what Elijah Muhammad and all that stuff was about. I wanted everything. And I saw that was drawing me away from that. So that's what the point I'm trying to say is that, you understand, these were not corrupted by the woman. Because people are corrupted, man. The American dream, democracy, right? Drugs. See? They're corrupted by this woman. See, it said that she made the nations drunk with her wicked wine. See, and these who women were not polluted, virgins they are. See, they follow the Lamb wherever he goes. See, so they hear this and they sing it. They hear this song. Because when they hear it, so a lot of people still they block all this noise, right? Trying to block the noise canceller, trying to block this information because it's music. I mean, that's what it is actually, but not type of music that you're going to play in trombone and stuff, right? See, so it says that's why it characterizes it as a song. See, because it's penetrating your heart on that vibrations. See, it says no one can sing that song but the elect. See, so. The demons couldn't sing it, and neither could the saints. But the saints was able to hear it enough, right? See, to get them to tribulation, to get them to hereafter. See, enough to recognize the Lamb when he came along and listen. But they had to go to the tribulation period. See, because they were deceived by Farrakhan. The elect was not deceived by Farrakhan. The elect was not deceived by Farrakhan. See, but the saints were. See, that's what he means. Okay, hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Let's move on here. Okay, so I've been saying that the demons are Christians, at least the greenish yellow ones, right? So, let's go and see what Scripture say about that, because we don't sit around and pick and choose on scriptures. We believe in all. We know it's all correct. The interpretations are bad, but we use their transliteral. See, and even when we don't, and that's for the angel, right? For the rest of it, right? We know it's correct because the angel clears it up for us. It's like they have a thing called check digits. Now, probably many don't know about this, but in computers, it's like a check digit. So when you get your credit card number, right? Okay, you get this number. You think it's a random number. It's not a random number, because they have an algorithm. And when the computer takes this number, how they know it's valid? They don't have to go and check all the numbers out there. What they do is they add up all the numbers. They take all the numbers. They go to the algorithm, and then when they go through it, it comes out to a certain number. They know that it's valid because that's what's called a check digit. See, because all the numbers they use have to, when they go through this algorithm, have to come match this number that at the end, like say for instance, if you say the number has to be 7, right? Okay, so you got 3 digits, right? So the combination has to be like 1 plus 4 plus 2. Then you add them up, you got 7. Or you got 2 times 3 plus 1, right? That's 6 plus 7 again, right? See what I'm saying? So that's called check digit. So therefore we can verify the script's okay because we check it back to angel and we can find out what the errors are or not. Because then errors are not into it. So we had a valid scripture, we're not worried about it. So we're going to talk about this thing about the brass serpent. Okay, when you're going to read about the brass serpent, right? Okay, now if you read, I'm not going to read the whole thing here, but it says that basically there was these fiery serpents. Not talking about the big serpent, but these fiery serpents. They're talking about the Europeans, right? And so they was biting the people. That's us, black folks over here, right? But specifically talking about certain ones, right, that fell for it. They was biting them, and the people, right, because the reason why they was biting them, because they wanted to listen. They didn't want to listen to Moses. See, they didn't want to listen to Moses, so they was biting them. And so what Moses did, he says, okay. And so somebody gets out of context and say, well, why would Moses give them Christianity? See, because you got to understand that they're not actually talking about Moses here. Anyway, but the point is that when he says, okay, he's a brass serpent, then he has to go to Daniel and say, the brass represents the false Israel. See? You got the gold, then you got the silver, then you got the brass. Now you say, why brass? Because brass is a fake gold. You can fool people. You shine it up, you make people fool's gold. So you got people pretending to be the gold, and we're the gold in that situation. So you got somebody pretending to be gold, and that's them. They claim they're true seed Abraham. So that represents them. That's the brass. See? And there's a serpent. Who's the serpent? Satan. So it's a brass serpent. See? So that's what you got. And he's on a stick. So that's across a stick. And they got a Jew on there that's pretending to be that's on there. That's what it's telling you. They're saying it's the true seed Abraham. They're saying it's the true son of David. That's what it is. And it's a lie. But it tells us everybody that believed in this thing, right, the serpent stopped biting them. If they looked up and believed, man, who got eyes in this thing? Remember, I said the woman, right, is also the eyes. They're also spirits, also demons. They're also 7 eyes. So they're the ones that have eyes. So there you got the bond down there. You got the demon down there, got the eye. He looks up at the cross, and the serpent stopped bothering him. I'm a Christian. See? Then they don't bother him anymore. See? Devils don't bother him anymore. I'm a Christian. See? So they don't bother him anymore. And that, at least in their mind, so they like the Quran says, all of them before they die, they'll believe in that cross, because the cross is on the wavelength of their hearts. That scripture, look, the angel is on the wavelength of your hearts, because it's designed to bring you out of here so you hear it. See, because your heart is the ones responding to that. The same frequency, the same wavelength. See, so you respond to it. Remember I said to God, they give you the scripture, right, to the people that they want to deliver. So the sealed Bible was on the scripture, on the wavelength and frequency of the Europeans. That's why they were so powerful and used it, because that's why they responded to it. That's why nobody responded to it but them, because it's on their wavelength. Just like the Quran is on the wavelength of the Arabs, so they still stuck with that. See, because on the wavelength, they still get stuck in time with it. I mean, that's right. They're not going to hear the angel. They're not going to hear they're not going to hear the sealed Bible. See, they're going to hear the Quran, but the Quran is out of time. It's irrelevant now. It's useful for making salats. That's what we use it for. But as far as guidance, it's irrelevant now. We can pull the guidance out of it. We don't need it. But we can use to confirm what we're talking about in the angel. See? So they stuck in time back there because that's on the frequency of their hearts, the frequency and the rhythm. See, because the Quran, from my understanding, I don't know Arabic, I know a little bit, right? But it says it's very poetic and very beautiful, rhythmic, and it's on the frequency and the wavelength and the rhythm of their hearts. That's why they respond to it. That's why they stuck in time with it. And they had it for 1,000 years and was successful with it. Then came along the sealed Bible, the mathematical sealed Bible, and that touched the Europeans' heart. And that's why I said the Quran says they will, all of them will believe them before they die, because that makes sense to them. It's right. It hits them. It hits them like you wouldn't believe, like mute, like some music hits you. Get you moving. It hits them like that. You're never going to convert these demons. And these groupies, they ain't never going to hear what you're talking about, because that stuff, they feel it. Because it's on the frequency of their nature, which is their heart. Heart is the root of your nature. Not your brain, your heart is the root of your nature. Your brain manages all that. Your heart is a sinner. That's why I say the heart is desperately wicked. Who could know it? It's on the frequency and the rhythm of their hearts. And so now the Christians, the Christian blacks, right, the demons, right, they hear that. And you're never going to convert them. You forget it. They ain't going to do it, because they ain't going to. They're going to die with it. And they hear it because so they, in their minds, man, if I tell Master I'm down with you, because I'm with you anyway, but I just confess it. Right? I'm a Christian, then he won't bother me no more. And that's where they see it. And nothing you can say is going to change that. See? And we don't want to change anyway. We don't want them. That's the way they see it. They love the cross. They love Jesus, because that sealed Bible is on the frequency of their heart. It's on the frequency, the rhythm, right? When I say the frequency, the rhythm, on their hearts, and they love it. They're not being deceived like you think they're being deceived, because you're not going to change them. You're not going to snap out of it. They're going down with that. And just like our people, right? They pick up this angel, right? And they're going to, it's on the frequency of their hearts, and they're doing everything trying to stop it. It's on the frequency, the wave. That's why it's the wavelength and rhythm. That's what it's trying to tell you here. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. I'm trying to make this clear, how these things fit together. See? It's all about the mind and the heart. The mind manages it, but the heart is where everything's happening. That's where the tuning in each other, all that stuff occurs right there. See? But you got a weak mind that manages it. You got a weak heart. You got a weak mind that manages it. And the heart is where you experience all the pressure. See? Where you get depressed and all that kind of stuff, because the heart can't take the pressure. See? And they have to give you drugs. Anyway, hope you understand. So that's what the brass serpent's all about. See? That's why it says Moses gave to him, because, right? Why? This, I said that it was not Moses and everything. I said because that kind of confused you. But that gets part of that separation of the chaff. Because see, we got to be wise here. I mean, I'm gonna go into that one in detail, Lou. But right now, I can't say too much about it because I'm giving away the battle plans. See? But said Moses gave that to him, right? To distinguish them, make them it's against them. See, because a lot of them were still hiding out amongst us. But now, bam, it's come out clear. See? And so now they manifest themselves because now you know, I just told you that if they stone cold 100% down with that, you know they're a demon. The difference between somebody they go to church hanging out, because my father went to church, but my mother, she was deep into it. See? And my mother may have been a demon. My father wasn't. If he was, we had trouble. I'm in trouble. You know, and that would be something, wouldn't it? Right? But he wasn't up in that church. I mean, he took us, but he wasn't about it. I can tell you that. Because like I said, he was processed to become with Elijah Muhammad. Because things started changing. We live right around the corner from the mosque. Right around the corner from the temple. It's Farmington Avenue in Newark. Anybody's familiar with Newark, right? The temple was right there, and we lived right around the corner from it. It was like blocked out from Lowton Avenue. We were on Farmington Avenue, literally right around the corner, a block away. I didn't know what it was about. I know my father took me there one time just before he passed away, and I didn't find out until after I came back from the military. When I went to the Max, and my aunt knew about it. Oh man, you doing what your father? Because like I said, he'd been talking to him about it. He didn't tell us. We was kids, right? So you doing that same stuff your father was doing. So I never went and checked to find out how far he got. Was he actually got his X or what? I don't know. But I know he was processing. See? So that's why the cross says all of them believe in that before they die, because that's in their nature. The scripture speaks to your nature. It speaks to the nature of the people that God wants to take and move further in time with. Those are the believers. That's why I said believers and disbelievers. Because the disbelievers can't read that rhythm. They don't feel it. And believe me, these Christians, when you that Bible that they talk, the sealed Bible, they feel it. They feel it. So you ain't gonna tell them to walk away from that at all. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. And finally, we want to talk about 666. See, a lot of people talking about 666. Oh man, this thing they're doing now 666. See, well, you know, you're not deceived, but they're going to be deceiving. We can't undeceive them. We don't want to undeceive them, because remember, that's what this is. They're talking their wavelength. But 666, most of the stuff, like I said, most of the stuff in there, 90% of Angel is about what's happened after once the war starts. What's happened beyond it. 10% is all the stuff that's building up to it, right? But a lot of the stuff in there. Like they might say, that's already happening. They look like it's in the future. It's already happening. See, they think. See, the mark, the demons. I'm not going into detail. I already did. I'm doing another presentation on it if necessary. Demons, they got the mark because they the one worship false Israel, because they believe false Israel is the true thing, and nothing you're gonna say will change that. But it's also talking about a greater point here. It says those cannot buy or sell unless they worship the image of the beast. And the image of the beast was the one, right, that was wounded by the sword. So in other words, Britain, false Israel, is the image of Britain. Their government is the image of it. They use the government system. They didn't use the American system. They used the British system for their government. That's why I say the image of that beast. But the beast that was wounded by death, that's the one that gave some mental support and gave economic support and military support and everything else. That's America. See? But it says anybody didn't worship that beast wouldn't be in the Bible. So that's sanctioned. I mean, that's so clear. It's sanctioned. If you don't go along with that, probably sanctioned. See, and that's something so clear as that, but they can't see it. And the ones that can see it, they ain't going to say it. Because it's so clear. If they sanction you if you don't go along with false Israel. If you're against false Israel, you're going to be sanctioned. You ain't be able to buy or sell anything. Ain't that what sanctions is? But you're going to get a mark, you're going to get a special mark. It's already happening. It's been happening for 40-some years. It happened 70-some years, actually, since false Israel got established. See? So that's what I said. We don't pay attention to these people because they're all lost. And nothing you can do to change that. See? So we look and see, we see how they blind, so we want them to stay blind. Remember how Jesus talked about he prayed that they would stay blind? Didn't he pray they would stay blind? He prayed that only his people would see what he's talking about. They don't only want to understand his parables. He wants them to stay blind. He says, do not give your pearls to swine, because they're stumped in the ground and turn on you. Because if you wake them up, You gonna wake up you find yourself lions, then you gonna wake the lion up? Are you stupid? See? They're too much awake now actually, but we're gonna bring them down. But if they get against the wall and they found that they can't do anything, and they still got some power left, you think they won't scorch the earth? That's why Master Problem is right there, to make sure they don't happen. They don't scorch this earth, because they will take and nuke it, and then okay, we're gonna have a nuked earth. We want that. We want a promised land that's all nuked up. That's why some things I don't say, brothers and sisters. I definitely don't give them a solid time frame. What would you do? Right? You're up against the wall, and death is approaching. Right? So you can either just accept death, and you got power, accept death, or use your power and hope maybe you can destroy death before it gets to you. What would you do? Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. 666 is not a physical mark you're going to get, because the Christian blacks already have it. See, because they already worship it. And anybody that doesn't blind sell anything. See, remember, there's a problem. You had the mark. That way, if you had the mark, then you was in trouble with Suleiman and the God. See, but if you didn't have the mark, right? I mean, if that was you was in trouble, right? But as far as the devil's concerned, their point, but right, then you wouldn't be able to buy or sell anything, unless you had it. So with Suleiman, you don't want to get it, but the devils, you want to get it. See, so I put that away. With Suleiman, you don't want to get it, because if you get, you in trouble. But with the devils, you better get it. If you don't get it, then you ain't gonna be able to buy or sell anything. You'll be sanctioned. And that's already been happening for 70 years. But they keep going, oh man, it's about to happen. This plague, they're gonna do this with this, and that's this beginning of it. Let them walk around their foolishness, blindly wondering on, like the Quran says, because they're about to walk into what they got about to walk into. And we don't want to put no alert signs and watch out, man. You walking off a cliff. We ain't that stupid. If anything, we put signs that say go. See, we know there's a cliff there. Say go, run. See, because we at war, brothers and sisters. And war is about deception. You don't tell anyone what you're doing. You don't tell somebody in the box ring, oh, I'm going to hit you with a left punch, a left hook. They surprise his ass. He wake up after the fight's over and say, then what happened to me? Understand, brothers and sisters. See, we're at war. You understand? Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. I think we had covered a lot of stuff here. I think that's pretty much it. Again, right? Here's if you're hearing this, it will help reach the rest of our people that are not hearing it, not because they can't, because you got these people with interference, static. See, doing everything they can to block it. They're blocking the light. Got people walk around in the dark of their shadows. See. So we have angel warriors. We have messenger of the covenant, and we have beacons. You can be one of those, or all three. We have some people all three. See. See. But we need a lot of beacons because it's getting ready to get intensely dark in a minute. See? And we need beacons, right? We pumping out that music, like Pied Piper. See? So our people know, you understand? See? Because that's the light. It's not a physical light, that's the light. So people know. Because they hear it, hey yo. Because when the light goes out, that means all this other stack is gone. All the stack that's out here right now, when abomination or desolation takes place, all the stack is gone. It's totally dark. So now we're playing that music and now people can hear it. We need people to play it. That's what you need a beacon for. to rally them, right? Bring them together. Okay? Because we're going home, brothers and sisters. That's the covenant we made, right? That's a promise that's going to be fulfilled, that is being fulfilled. Master Prophet Muhammad came personally to make sure that we understood that. He raised up Elijah Muhammad to make sure, one of the greatest men in history, to make sure that we understood it, prepare us for it. And then we got Lion Farrakhan come along trying to deceive you. That's just a test. See? But he's true. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Because he's not teaching the covenant. And that's Elijah Muhammad's message. Because he's working with it, he's a demon. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Okay. Okay, brothers and sisters, that winds that up. Hope it's been informative to you. Right? And we love you, brothers and sisters. Right? You're the elect. We're coming together. And the Levites, those stuck in the Nation of Islam, right? You are adopted brothers and sisters, right? We're going to rescue you. You're Master Prophet Muhammad's babies. And he's doing all for you. Don't understand. I mean, y'all going through all these changes and listening to Farrakhan, and you don't know what Master Prophet Muhammad's going through for you. You better read Jonah, because he chastised Jonah, because Jonah didn't want to talk. It had nothing to do with you. He chastised his son, Jonah, because he didn't want to have anything to do with you. He didn't want to warn you. He didn't want to tell you nothing. See? Because if you were deceived by Farrakhan, he says, man, I don't be bothered with them. But Master Muhammad overruled them. Says, no. He says, many of them can't stand their right hand from their left, so I'm not going to get rid of them right now. Because he's supposed to got rid of you in 2015 while doing Obama's rule. That's when you're supposed to go down. But he refused, and Jonah got caught hell for it. So he delayed it. See? Because you're his baby. He the one gave birth to the NOI. He the one gave birth to it. He set it up. See? He doesn't want it to fail. See? But you're going to be punished. Because you're going through tribulation. See? Only the elect are going to be delivered. But he's tasked me to, I got to help you out, so I will. He's the God. And we all love Master Prophet Muhammad. We all love him. No one cared for us. We was alone here with nothing, lost. If Master Prophet Muhammad hadn't showed up when he did, we probably wouldn't even be around now. So we give all praise to him, right? Not no mystery God. And we were immensely thankful for Elijah Muhammad, who sacrificed 40-some years of his life, going toe-to-toe with this wild beast, fearlessly. When they was hanging black folks like eating popcorn. We toe-to-toe with them. See? And then we got to deal with this demon. They call him honorable. Nothing honorable about that disemboweled son of a devil, Farrakhan. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.